All right, welcome back to our special coverage of the elections. It's the eve of the elections, and tomorrow the first phase of elections, the biggest phase, will begin. So do watch our continuous coverage. 21 states and union territories go to the polls tomorrow, and the states and union territories include Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, UP, Uttarakhand, Rajasthan, Jammu and Kashmir will witness polling tomorrow. So do come out and cast your vote.
Absolutely. And the key candidates tomorrow are going to be Nitin Gadkari, who's fighting from Nagpur in Maharashtra. We also have Jitin Prasad from Pilibhit in Uttar Pradesh, Tamilisai Soundarajan from South Chennai in Tamil Nadu, K. Annamalai fighting from Coimbatore. Well, also Nakul Nath from Chhindwara. We have from Saharanpur, it's Imran Masood, who's one of the key candidates in the polls tomorrow. In the electoral battle of Saharanpur, we know Imran Masood emerged as a prominent contender. He's representing the Congress Samajwadi Party alliance.
That's right, Imran Masood, who rejoined the Congress, in fact, last year after doing the rounds of Samajwadi Party and BSP, now back with the Congress, as he's going to stay there. Also, the Union Minister Jitendra Singh will be contesting again from Udhampur. It's a constituency he's won twice, and it's the third time that he is fighting for this seat. Kiran Rijiju, the Union Minister, also contesting once again from Arunachal West and hoping to win it. It'll be the fourth time that he'll be a member of Parliament. So some of the big faces in the upcoming elections tomorrow, one of the biggest phases, as we said, Gaurav Gogoi is contesting from Jorhat in Assam, a son of former Chief Minister Tarun Gogoi, and this time though he's shifted his seat, so it's a bit of a contest for him there.
Absolutely. And as part of our mega coverage, we have our reporters on the ground. Well, from Jaipur, Harsha is joining us on the broadcast. From Jammu, we have Nazir. Saurabh Gupta is joining us on the broadcast from Cooch Behar. Ratnadeep, Guwahati. Ronak from Nagpur. Amritanshi in Chhindwara. All right, all these constituencies are going to go to polls tomorrow, and it's going to be a very interesting contest to watch. Let me first go across to my colleague Harsha here. Harsha, Rajasthan's 12 seats out of total 25 are going to polls in the first phase. That's tomorrow. Well, BJP has been in power for 2 consecutive terms. It had won 24 out of the 25 constituencies in 2019. What are the issues here in Rajasthan that are going to dominate the election, and what are the people on the ground saying?
Well, yes, the BJP has been winning 25 out of 25 since 2014. So obviously they're hoping for a hat trick this time, and the Congress is hoping that they can really open their account, so to speak, in Rajasthan in Lok Sabha. So, those are the concerns for both the parties. But what are the people's issues? Well, we've been traversing the length and breadth of Rajasthan. And basically, the issues are definitely employment for the youth. That's been a very big issue. It's also been picked up as an issue in the assembly elections. It's carrying on now into the Lok Sabha elections as well. Remember, Rajasthan had those paper leaks, exam paper leaks in the assembly elections, which were made into a big issue. Also, price rise is an issue. Water is a very big issue, especially in the desert districts, because in the villages, pipe drinking water has still not reached many homes. And we have the Minister for Jal Shakti from here, who's actually said he promised 27,000 crores for that, but blaming the Congress for water not reaching. The Eastern Rajasthan Canal project is also another issue, especially in the eastern districts, because those are going for a vote. Of course, caste arithmetic. This time I did find that caste arithmetic was somewhere, one of the, definitely on the agenda for all political parties. So they're trying to get the caste arithmetic right. And for the Congress, it's the welfare plank. Rahul Gandhi has come and held 2 rallies here. Priyanka Gandhi has also been here. So Sachin Pilot and Ashok Gehlot also, campaigning for the Congress. So the Congress's welfare plank and the Nyay that they've promised, the 5 pillars of Nyay and their guarantees. So it's the Congress's guarantees versus the Modi guarantee. Right. But of course, the overarching, voter sentiment is sometimes that they will actually vote on the PM's face.
Absolutely,
That's
yes.
something that works a lot in in the north, and it's the Prime Minister who is the biggest vote getter for the BJP. But let's go across to Saurabh now from Bengal, and 3 seats go to polls tomorrow, Saurabh, and this is in North Bengal, and these are seats that were won by the BJP last time around, and this time the Trinamool Congress has been putting up a big fight for these 3 seats for North Bengal. And what was also very interesting is the Election Commission stepping in and recommending to the governor not to visit Cooch Behar, saying that it would violate the Model Code of Conduct.
Absolutely. Cooch Behar has seen a very, very aggressive campaign by both the BJP and the Trinamool Congress. The Prime Minister has come here, Mamata Banerjee has come here, Abhishek Banerjee has come here. It's been a very, very strong campaign by both the parties, and Nishit Pramanik, Jagdish Basunia are the main candidates, the Trinamool and the BJP. It's largely a two-way fight. There are other candidates as well, but it's largely a two-way fight. And in this constituency, it's Nishit Pramanik who will, of course, holds the edge because he's already the sitting MP. He's also been MOS home. Apart from that, you also have Alipurduar, where the BJP won last time, but had to change a candidate this time. And why? Because there was feedback that the candidate wasn't really popular. So they fielded a ground leader, Manoj Tigga, the chief whip in the assembly, and Madarihat MLA, in place of John Barla, who was dropped. In Jalpaiguri, again, there's a bit of a contest because the Trinamool, like you said, has put up a very spirited campaign, especially in Jalpaiguri after that storm. So these are the 3 seats that are going to vote in North Bengal. And these seats are seats that were all held by the BJP. The Trinamool, like you said, trying to regain lost ground. But in the end, tomorrow, the voters will decide who goes to parliament from Cooch Behar, Alipurduar and Jalpaiguri.
That's right, Saurabh. And, violence also being anticipated, as is always the case with elections in Bengal. Hopefully that will not happen this time around. And there's a huge security setup, a security apparatus there in the state. If you could just talk a little bit about that. It's going to be a long election for you. You start with the first one, and all 7 phases are going to see voting in Bengal.
Absolutely, it's going to be a long drawn-out election where West Bengal votes in every phase, and one of the reasons is, of course, the history of violence during elections in West Bengal, and that's the reason why you will see a huge number, unprecedented number of central forces. Huge companies of central forces that will be deployed here, from the CISF to BSF. But interestingly, one of the things that we've learned is that the CISF will not be deployed in this area, because remember in Shitolkuchi what happened last time, and that is of course one of the things that we've learnt. So obviously that is going to be the case. The CISF won't be deployed, but other central forces, all of them, BSF, CRPF, all of them are going to be deployed. They've already come in, and what we are being given to understand that of course every booth will be manned by central forces. Huge security arrangements for Cooch Behar, Alipurduar, Jalpaiguri. Cooch Behar has already seen violence with Udayan Guho and of the TMC and Nishit Pramanik of the BJP squaring off earlier. So this is, of course, a very sensitive constituency as well.
Absolutely. There has been a history of violence, and we do hope that doesn't repeat. Well, let me go across to my colleague Ronak Kukre, also here. He is in Nagpur. Well, Maharashtra is expected to witness a bipolar contest between the BJP and the Congress, or I would say Mahayuti and the MVA. Nagpur, if we talk about specifically here, it's one of the important, one of the prominent parliamentary constituencies, and it's going to see polling tomorrow. Well, Nitin Gadkari, who's once again fighting from this seat, had won the 2014 election, 2019 as well, with a big margin here, Ronak, and is expected to repeat that performance.
जी देखिए, निश्चित तौर पर नितिन गडकरी इस बार भी अपनी हैट्रिक लगाने के लिए तैयार है। और कल भी जब चुनाव प्रचार थमा, उस वक्त भी उन्होंने प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस में ये विश्वास जताया कि पिछली बार नाना पटोले, जो फिलहाल कांग्रेस के प्रदेश अध्यक्ष है, उनको उन्होंने 2 लाख से भी ज़्यादा वोटों से हराया था। और इस बार जो उनके सामने कांग्रेस से प्रत्याशी दिए विकास ठाकरे, उनको लगभग 3.5 लाख वोटों से वो हराएंगे। इस तरह का विश्वास जो है वो नितिन गडकरी ने यहाँ पर व्यक्त किया है। लेकिन नागपुर तो यहाँ पर कल वोट करेगा ही, लेकिन मैं आपको बता दूं कि विदर्भ की 5 सीटों पर कल मतदान होना है, और इन 5 ही जो ये पूर्व विदर्भ की सीटें हैं, वहाँ पर अगर देखा जाए तो सीधे सीधे कांग्रेस और बीजेपी के बीच में यहाँ पर मुकाबला जो है वो देखने को मिल रहा है। प्रधानमंत्री 2 बार पूर्व विदर्भ में प्रचार के लिए आ चुके हैं। राहुल गांधी ने एक बार प्रचार किया, लेकिन शरद पवार और उद्धव ठाकरे की अगर बात की जाए, जो कि महाविकास आघाड़ी के एक बड़े नेता है, उनकी यहाँ पर ज्यादा रैलियां जो है वो देखने को नहीं मिली, क्योंकि कांग्रेस के यहाँ पर ज्यादा प्रत्याशी है। पिछली बार अगर बात की जाए तो इन 5 में से 1 सीटों पर ही कांग्रेस को यहाँ पर जीत मिली थी, बाकी सब सीटें एनडीए ने जीत ली थी। और इस बार भी जो बीजेपी उम्मीद कर रही है कि इसी तरह का परफॉर्मेंस यहाँ पर देखने को मिलेगा। कल सुबह 7 बजे से यहाँ पर मतदान जो है वो शुरू हो जाएगा, लेकिन मुख्य तौर पर देखने वाली बात होगी कि बीजेपी के बाद अगर शिवसेना और एनसीपी के फूट की बात अगर बात की जाए तो पहली बार महाराष्ट्र में कोई बड़ा चुनाव हो रहा है, तो लोगों का मैंडेट क्या है, किस तरह से लोग सोच रखते हैं, ये देखना महत्वपूर्ण होगा। और बहुत ही डिसाइसिव महाराष्ट्र की 48 सीटें रहने वाली है। जी
Absolutely, but Ronak, we've also seen how there has been a lot of back and forth when it came to deciding the seats between the Mahayuti parties also and the MVA. जिस तरह से अभी हमने वो बैक एंड फोर्थ देखा है इन फैक्शंस में, किस तरह की ये हेजिटेंसी रही है पार्टीज में?
जी देखिए कल पहली जो फर्स्ट फेज का वोट है वो महाराष्ट्र की 5 सीटों पर होने जा रहा है। उसके बावजूद अभी तक एनडीए लगभग ऐसी 7 सीटें जिस पर अपना कैंडिडेट जो है वो डिसाइड नहीं कर पाई। हालांकि जो सूत्र बता रहे हैं वो ये कह रहे हैं कि 5वें और चौथे चरण में मतदान होना है, जिसके लिए काफ़ी अभी वक्त है, लिहाजा इतने जल्दी अगर सीटों का ऐलान किया तो उनके मन में डर है कि बगावत ना हो सके, इसीलिए फूक कर कदम जो है ये महायुति और एनडीए गठबंधन करता हुआ दिख रहा है। लेकिन अगर एमवीए की बात की जाए तो एक स्ट्रांग एमवीए यहां पर दिखाई दे रहा है। लेकिन पहले फेज में अगर बात की जाए तो कांग्रेस थोड़ा कमजोर दिखाई दे रहा है, और उनके नेताओं का जिस तरह से यहां प्रचार देखने को मिलना चाहिए था, वो कहीं ना कहीं प्रचार थोड़ा सा बीजेपी का मुकाबले हमें कम दिख रहा है। जी
All right, thanks so much, Ronak. And interesting this time, Kitty, that it's the first election we're seeing after the splitting of all the parties, the Shiv Sena splitting into 2, the NCP splitting into 2. So that's going to be very interesting to watch which way the voters go. But let's go across to Ratnadeep now for the Northeast. And Ratnadeep, 16 Northeast seats going to the polls tomorrow. 5 of them in Assam. First, tell us about Assam and the keen contest there and the issues on the ground.
That's right. Out of 25 seats in the Northeast, 15 of them are going to polls tomorrow in the first phase. So this is going to be the biggest phase as far as Northeast is concerned. And fate of 2 Union Minister, Kiren Rijiju from Arunachal West and Sarvanand Sonowal, who is fighting a triangular fight in Dibrugarh. Their fate will be decided. Also, fate of 2 former Chief Minister, former Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister Nabam Tuki, who is fighting against Kiren Rijiju. His fate will be decided. Fate of former Tripura Chief Minister Biplab Kumar Deb, who is fighting from the Tripura West seat, will be decided. Also the fate of Gaurav Gogoi from a new seat, Jorhat, where there is a very keen contest that will be decided by the voters. So 5 seats in Assam, the rest 10 in other parts of Northeast. Most importantly, in both the seats of Manipur, there will be polling. However, the outer Manipur seat will see polling in 2 phases. Part of it will go for polls tomorrow in the first phase, and the other part will go in the second phase. And in Manipur, elaborate security arrangements have been made. 160 companies of central forces have been rushed to Manipur only for the poll duties. There are micro observers in almost all the critical and vulnerable constituencies, polling stations, and also there are several polling stations which have been specially made for people who have been displaced in last year's violence. In fact, so all focus will be on Manipur. Also, the lone Lok Sabha seat in Nagaland would go to polls, but this evening the powerful Eastern Naga People's Organization ENPO has called for a shutdown in the Eastern Nagaland region. So one has to wait and watch if people come out to vote there or not. But in all, it will be a major contest between the BJP and its allies, who have last time, remember, won 18 of the 25 seats in Northeast, and this time they want to win as many as 22 seats. And for the Congress, it is a battle of survival in an area which used to be its bastion at one point of time. In fact, Prime Minister Modi, Union Home Minister Amit Shah, BJP President JP Nadda, all have campaigned in Northeast. However, from the Congress, we only saw Priyanka Gandhi campaigning in Northeast. We didn't see Rahul Gandhi or Mr. Kharge, or for that matter of fact, any other top senior leader apart from the AICC in charge of those areas. So therefore, Congress, for the Congress, is a battle of existence, but also for the regional parties in Northeast who are allies with the BJP, this is going to be a big test. So whether they are able to not only hold on to their seat, but also help the BJP increase their tally, or whether Congress is able to hold on to the number of seats they have won last time. Remember, out of this 25, Congress had won 4 of them, one being in Shillong. That is another hot seat where former Union Minister and 3-time MP Vincent Pala is pitted against Amparin Lingdo of NPP, BJP's ally. So therefore, this phase in the Northeast is going to see some very keen fights, and some of the heavyweights, their fate will be decided by the voters. And also with this, there are simultaneous assembly elections in Arunachal Pradesh where the BJP has already taken an edge. 10 seats they have won uncontested, including the Chief Minister and Deputy Chief Minister. And also in the small Himalayan state of Sikkim, there is a very keenly contested assembly elections which are going to take place tomorrow, along with the Lok Sabha seat. There is only one Lok Sabha seat there in Sikkim. Out for the 32 seats, there is a close fight between the ruling Sikkim Krantikari Morcha and the main opposition Sikkim Democratic Front.
All right, so assembly elections in 2 of those states, Arunachal Pradesh and in Sikkim. Thanks so much, Ratnadeep, for joining us with all those details.
Well, we'll have to wait and watch how this contest in the Northeast really plays out. Let me go across to my colleague Amritanshi also. Amritanshi, it's a big face-off that is going to be witnessed in Chhindwara seat in Madhya Pradesh. Kamal Nath had won this seat several times before, and his son is now contesting this time around once again. What are the chances, what are the issues here that people are going to vote on? This is the only seat in Madhya Pradesh in the 2019 Lok Sabha elections, as we understand that the BJP had lost. But the BJP is trying to make all-out efforts to clinch victory on this seat as well. What are the issues there? What are the people on the ground saying?
Surely, Chhindwara is the most hot seat of Madhya Pradesh right now, and the first polling phase of Madhya Pradesh Chhindwara, the people of Chhindwara will be voting from 7 a.m. tomorrow. So basically, Kamal Nath, the ex-chief minister of Madhya Pradesh, won around like 9 times on this seat. He has won like record 9 times for this MP seat, and also right now he is the MLA from the Chhindwara seat in this constituency. Also, till 2014. Kamal Nath won on this seat, and in 2019 Nakul Nath, his son, contested on this seat, and he defeated Nathan Shah from like around a lead of 35,000 votes in 2019. Now his son only, Nakul Nath, the sitting MP from here, is like contesting the election again, and Vivek Banti Sahu from BJP is like contesting again on this seat, though he has lost in the assembly elections in 2023. The seat is like the very hot topic of Madhya Pradesh right now, because the BJP is like constantly working on this seat from a very long time, like from last 2 to 3 months. All the big leaders of big faces of the Bharatiya Janata Party came Chhindwara for the elections. Amit Shah held a road show a day before yesterday here. Also, the national president of BJP, JP Nadda, also held a public meeting in the Chhindwara. Also, a mass exodus was seen from the Chhindwara, from the Congress party in the Chhindwara. Many close people of Kamal Nath, like Deepak Saxena, Vikram Ahake, who is the mayor of Chhindwara, also an MLA from the Amarwada constituency, which gave a lead of 25,000 votes in the last elections to the Nakul Nath, has also joined Bharatiya Janata Party recently. So there's like a tough competition between BJP and Congress. BJP has like put down all their efforts for this seat relating to this exodus, and also all the big faces came here for the elections. Though the Kamal Nath and their family has a like 44-year-old relationship with this Chhindwara seat. That's why it has been said that there's always been a tough competition between BJP and Congress. Also, BJP lost all the 7 seats of this constituency, of the 7 assembly seats of this constituency in 2023, after all the efforts being put down at that time. So BJP is like constantly working working. BJP swept like around 28 seats from all the 29 seats in Madhya Pradesh. Though Chhindwara is the hottest seat in Madhya Pradesh, also the big thing is that 36% of tribal majority is like constituting in this seat. That's why the tribal voters are very important in Madhya Pradesh. It has been said that whoever wins the heart of the tribals, they can like easily get the throne or easily get the seat. So the tribal voters play a very important role in all the 6 seats which will be polling tomorrow. Also, the interesting fact is that Nakul Nath is the most richest candidate in the first phase of elections. He has like declared a 716 crore about his property and his in his affidavit. So many interesting things in this seat.
Absolutely,
and many interesting
but will
facts.
he be able to win this
BJP is
seat
constantly
once again or
trying,
not?
But
Because
tomorrow the people of Chhindwara
BJP,
will
of
vote.
course, is aggressively pushing to wrest this seat from the Congress
Absolutely,
party.
and that entire controversy over whether Kamal Nath or his son were joining the BJP or not, something that they later denied, but that couldn't have helped matters, and we're at this stage where it actually looks like Kamal Nath may possibly lose his bastion of Chhindwara. His son, of course, the one who's contesting. Thank you all for joining us on the program, and we're all set for our for the elections tomorrow, and do remember to keep watching NDTV for all the coverage of the elections.
Our mega coverage will continue on NDTV tomorrow and till the results are out, that is on June 4th. Meanwhile, in some more news, the nomination process of candidates began in Telangana from today, and Congress is hoping to retain a hold in the state it won just a few months back.
NDTV's Maria Shakil spoke to Telangana Chief Minister Revanth Reddy, who's currently campaigning in Kerala. Reddy asserted that the Congress will perform well in all the southern states, including Telangana, and that the BJP's ambition of winning 400 Lok Sabha seats will meet the same fate as KCR's national ambitions.
Sir, you are here to campaign for your candidates in battleground Kerala. You are also seen as the poster boy of the Congress these days. What, according to you, is the assessment of your party in the southern states overall?
So, particular in Kerala, 2020. So, we are going to get 20 out of 20. Kerala is the leading partner in Indian alliance.
What about your own state, sir? The BJP did well, surprising numbers in 2019. What about this time?
This time, out of 17, I am going to get 40 from Telangana.
And other states, your assessment, because you have been campaigning extensively for the Congress across southern India.
Yes, entire south, 130 seats are there. Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Pondicherry, Karnataka and Telangana. Out of 130, BJP is going to get hardly 12 to 15 seats. Remaining seats are with India alliance.
That's a lot of optimism. When the BJP says 400 par, what is your answer to that?
It is very similar campaigning was done by KCR. This time in 2023 December Assembly election, he has told 100 seats. But he has got 39 seats. It's very similar. Bharatiya Janata Party is trying to confuse people, but people are very intelligent. They are going to teach a lesson to Bharatiya Janata Party.
What, according to you, are the issues of this election then?
Some major price rise, farmers issue, unemployment, everything is there. He has lost 10 years and moreover he has borrowed 113 lakh crore rupees within 10 years, Narendra Modi's regime. So this is the biggest problem for the country.
And are you of the opinion that cooperative federalism is the key here? Because when Prime Minister Modi was in Telangana, you praised him as well.
I have not praised. I have told he is the Prime Minister of India. India is union of states. Every chief minister he has to take care. So that is what I have told. You people misrepresented my statement.
Okay, let me end with my last question. You are in Kerala, you are campaigning for Adur Prakash, sitting member of parliament here. What do you think are the issues? Because the BJP is also trying to make inroads in Kerala, but the Modi wave was stopped by Kerala in 2014 and 2019.
This time also, I don't think so. They are not going to get deposit in single seat in Kerala. Thank you.
Thank you so much for speaking to NDTV.
All right. In with more news of Telangana, one of the most prestigious seats in Telangana is Malkajgiri, and also a prestige seat as it is held by Chief Minister Revanth Reddy. BJP's Etala Rajendra filed his nomination papers today, accompanied by Union Ministers Hardeep Singh Puri and Kishan Reddy.
NDTV's Uma Sudhir caught up with him on an exclusive chat in which he answered criticism that as a new entrant to the BJP, the prominence given to him is resented.
First off the block, nomination filed already. Etala Rajendra Garu, BJP candidate for Malkajgiri, biggest constituency in terms of numbers, area as well. And for you, very critical battle. आप जो 2023 में जो असेंबली इलेक्शन हुआ, आपको हार का सामना करना पड़ा 2 सीट में. अब ये बहुत क्रिटिकल है.
Actually, my luckiest person हूँ. Why? Because I am contesting from Malkajgiri Parliament seat. 38 lakhs वोटर्स भी हो, मगर ये बहुत एडवांस्ड कॉन्सेंसी है. एम्प्लॉयज़ ज़्यादा, एक सर्विसमैन ज़्यादा, बिजनेस पीपल ज़्यादा, बाहर का राज्यों से जो आया है वो ज़्यादा, तेलंगाना सेटलर्स भी ज़्यादा. मेरे को 22 ईयर्स में हर एक आदमी पहचान था. मैं मूवमेंट में जो काम किया था, इसके बाद पहले बार मैं फाइनेंस डिपार्टमेंट का बास था एंड हेल्थ बेस्ड में काम किया था. इसलिए हर एक आदमी पहचानने वाला है. मलकाजगिरी में सिर्फ परिचय होता है, मेरा परिचय होता है. जो रिकॉग्नाइज करता है मेरे को रिकॉग्नाइज करता है, जो वोट डालता है मेरे को वोट डालने का उम्मीद है. वो कांग्रेस पार्टी, वो बीआरएस पार्टी, वो पैसों से पेड आर्टिकल्स लिखा के वो मीडिया मैनेजमेंट का कुछ करते होंगे, मगर यहाँ पे कुछ भी नहीं है. इस बार मोदी का हवा हर घर में है, हर गली में भी है.
लेकिन भाजपा में खुद आपको काफ़ी एक तरह से जो ट्रेडिशनलिस्ट हैं उनको लगता है कि बाहर से आए हैं फिर भी इनको इतना मौका मिल जाता है. मलकाजगिरी जैसे आपने कहा बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट प्रेस्टीज कंस्टिट्यूंसी भी माना जाता है, क्योंकि यहाँ से मुख्यमंत्री यहाँ से जीते थे रेवंत रेड्डी.
अरे मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी में नया हूँ, मगर पॉलिटिक्स में नया नहीं हूँ. मैं 7 बार एमएलए कर चुका हूँ. मैं तेलंगाना के अंदर जिस जगह भी जाओ हमारा इटला ना बोलता है. एक 2 मिनट अगर रोड पे मेरे साथ खड़े रहो, 100 लोग आके के फोटो लेता है.
All right, so that brings us to the end of this coverage, but do remember to continue watching all the election news right here on NDTV.
Thanks for watching.